So the idea here is that we're talking about early studies. Remember I told you we're on the doorstep of this? Nothing here is conclusive. Mechanisms aren't studied. I can tell you that when I started doing acupuncture in the 70s and early 80s, they were interested in mechanism. That became too expensive, so they went for efficacy. Does it or doesn't work? I mean, we really don't care how. How is expensive? Does it work? Is acupuncture combined with physical therapy more effective than either one alone? That's a study. And it came out, guess what? Together works best. You'll see today, and this is what I'm advocating, together works best. Together, yes, how about that? You add this, you don't subtract this. It's and. The days of either or are gone. We talked about that. And. So we'll see this. Significant results you'll see in these controlled studies, and there are more than you probably think out there. And they are randomized control studies, and Qigong and Tai Qi are very similar, and I'm going to show you how Qigong, Tai Qi, and acupuncture are actually quite similar too. They are all shared foundational benefits, and you will know them when you leave this room. Who likes tigers? I do. That's why I put it up there. I like tigers. So when we're doing Qigong or Tai Qi or even acupressure, one of the things that we work with are these regulating these three areas of life. Body. So how did we regulate our bodies doing Qigong? How do we do that? What was that? Anybody? How do we regulate the body? Right. We were centered. We were standing there. I gave you certain things to do with your arms. That's how we regulate the body. We say to the body, do this. I want you to do this. When I had you hold your thumb and index finger back or curled up, I asked you to do that for a particular reason. So we regulated the body. How about the breath? What do we do to that? Breathed in a particular manner, and we focused. That's exactly right. So I had you go through a series of exercises, not random. I didn't let you breathe wherever you wanted to. I said this is how we ought to breathe to maximize the therapeutic effect. And that's how we did it. There are many, 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 many ways to do breathing. This works. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than what we just did. But there's a lot of other things that you can do. There are many layers of understanding for this. But the point is, what we just did, that'll work. That's enough. The mind. Ooh, the mind. What do we do with the mind? What happened to the mind during that exercise? I gave you some things to focus on. Quiet your mind, quieted down so you forgot about certain chatter that's out there in the world. That might be helpful to somebody who's experiencing anxiety or depression or panic attack or constant worry or stress or something. That might be useful. Yeah, so the saying here is the Qi, which is your energy, follows the I, which is your mind or your intention. Let's go over that again. This is actually a key point. Your Qi, your energy, follows your I, or your mind or your intention. So that means where you think, you go. Literally. So when you're thinking stressful thoughts, your body develops stressful patterns. When you are constantly in worry, your body is constantly in hyper alert. When you are finding things to think about that aren't right, you're going to think and feel not right. Yes, ma'am.
So when you said to get rid of something, my mind worried about what should I get rid of.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly, right. What should I get rid of first?
I don't know if it was successful because I spent all my time trying to figure out if I was doing the right thing to get rid of this.
Yes, and did everybody hear that? She was trying to figure out what to get rid of first, and she didn't know if she'd be successful, and so there was a self-judgment piece in there and other things. But how many, let's be honest, how many people that this was your first time thought that way too, went through this sort of like litany of am I doing this right and blah, blah, blah. I mean, how many shared exactly what this woman said? And a lot of hands went out, so thank you. The idea is that we have self-judgment. Said, am I doing something right? I said when I stood up here, this is easy, don't worry about it, and we still think, am I doing it right? So this is just how we are. We're humans, and so humans do this. So the answer here is that's you and me and almost everybody else in this room. Do it again. And then do it again. And then, everybody? Do it again. There you go. What an intelligent audience you brought here today. Yeah, because you can repeat that, and after a while you'll realize none of those machinations matter. None of those mental gymnastics that you're going through matter. In fact, they will hurt you. So none of that matters. And what really does matter is that you learn to enjoy dropping things that you no longer need, and you enjoy bringing things into your life that you actually wish you had. You'll enjoy the process. And when you enjoy it, you might actually do it again. And that's the lesson. Well, we're almost done then. Actually, that deserves an ooh. There you go. See? Yes, you didn't think I brought my own signs, but I've done game shows before. So you should just know that about me. You're surprised?
No.
Good. Good. You expect that. Fantastic.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. I'm okay, you're okay. Fantastic book. Qigong in a boat with a goat. Yes, one of my favorite stains, because you can do Qigong anywhere. One of my two favorite places where I could relax the most, and where I started to not relax because I had to. You got to remember, when I started doing this stuff, I was an angry young man, like lots of people, right? Angry young teenager. What are you going to do with that energy? What are you going to do with that pent-up passion? What are you going to do with all that stuff? A lot of destructive behavior. So now what are you going to do with that stuff? And so you learn these things and you say, oh, I can take this pipeline of passion, and when I'm not using it, store it, put it someplace else, or dissipate it, because it will destroy the earth and me. So I found the two places that I felt pent up the most in my early days here in Boston. One was in the laundromat, because I thought I should be doing something else. It's like, I should be more productive than being in the laundromat. I should be doing something, but I had to do my laundry. I mean, eventually, right? So I had to do that stuff, especially 25 hours practicing martial arts. I mean, you got to do that laundry, no matter who your roommates are. And they were all musicians, and I still had to do my laundry. So the other place was in the subway, or on the transit system, the buses. I'm from a 7,000 person town in Ohio. We don't have, I don't even think we had a bus. And we surely didn't have a subway. So when I came here, I found these very disruptive, especially in some of those curves that you go around on the green line, when you hear it go, and that would go in my spine. And I would just be like, and I'd look at everybody and they're just, and I'd say, how does that not bother you? And I'm in the laundromat and I'm saying, why do people not have torches? I mean, why are we not doing more with ourselves in the laundromat? Well, the answer is they don't want to, they don't care. There's a lot of answers. So it was my personal problem, as lots of things turned out to be. So I found out that I could use this Qigong. Now, this is going to be hard for me in the subway to do this kind of thing, right? This is going to be hard. Although I've seen it. So we did Wei Dan. Wei Dan is anything that you do with your external body. You're doing something externally. Nei Dan is internal. Internal. How about that? So, everybody, right where you are, sit on the edge of your chair. Yes, exactly. Right. How about that? Again, soft eyes or closed eyes. There's nothing to see here, folks. Both feet flat on the floor. And what you can do, if you wish, is to take your hands and overlap them and put them against your lower abdomen, and you can breathe from there if you wish. And the idea is to then follow the sound of my voice. And to remember, because this just happened a few minutes ago, to remember breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth. Try that one time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now remember what it feels like to bring your hands up as you breathe in. You don't do it, just remember. In your mind, see yourself doing it, like a movie, like a film. You breathe in, your hands go up in your mind. You breathe down and out, you push that tabletop down into the earth. Breathe in, hands go up in your mind. Just remember what it felt like. Breathe out, push that tabletop down into the ground. Breathe in. You imagine yourself, and remember, dropping your elbows. As you exhale, you breathe out to the side. Breathe in. The hands return, filling you with really a good energy, a sense of calm, a sense of peace. Exhale, and remember your hands pushing that tabletop down and allowing extra stress, worry, fear to fall down through your hands, through the bottom of your feet, and get absorbed into the floor below. And nice gentle breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and remember that sense of peace and calm. And slowly open your eyes and come back to this space. You could do that anywhere. You could do that anywhere. This is what we talk about Neidan. You could do that anywhere. In a boat with a goat. You actually could. You could. So that's the idea. We move to Tai Qi. Oh. You know, I'm not only telling you cool stuff, I'm telling you secret stuff. Secret stuff. Ha, you know, well, what do you expect? So, secret sword hand. You see my hand, which that is my hand. Couldn't find a picture, had to take mine. So, try this. Take your last two fingers and your thumb and put them together and the other two together. And this is like a sword, right? You could see this. This could be a sword, right? Errol Flynn, for those of you that grew up in that time. I was lucky enough, one of my fencing coaches when I was a fight choreographer was Errol Flynn's double. His name's Patty Crane. He passed away a few years ago. He wrote a book called More Champagne, Darling. It is a great, for those of you who are Errol Flynn fans. So he was, talking about older Americans, he was over 70 and his feet were not as strong as they were. I was 22 and I could not get in on him. His hands were fast at over 70. I couldn't get my blade on him. I tried over and over again, and at that time I had become a fencing champion. I was fast, I was young, and I had everything going for me. I had more hair. There were a lot of things that were happening at that time. It's true, I felt confident. But he was so deft, he had an understanding, a depth of understanding that I did not have, probably do not have today. Over 70 and I couldn't get him. Imagine the frustration. I knew he was 50 years older than I was and I can't get him. Imagine my frustration. But it just shows you the talent of an active older American. This guy's fantastic. You can read about him. That's an aside. So, secret sword hand. The reason that it's a secret is there's a couple things that happen. One, the circulation, the Qi circulation, the energy circulation that passes through your hands, it passes this way, through here and back up through the thumb. The second thing, here's the secret, you take your tongue and you touch it on the soft palate of the roof of your mouth, and that helps increase the energy circulation in your body. Now, you would have to be told that. You would not observe that. That's a secret. There's a lot of value here. So, secret sword hand, you've got circulation here. Here's the idea with Tai Chi is that you are moving your energy beyond you. One of the key turning points in my life is when I got married, and I married my lovely wife, Diane, who's back there, and she is really the true, you know, the one you should feel sorry for. Yes, thank you. Give her applause. Imagine, it's just a torturous life. So here's what I learned. She had 2 children, and so they were 11 and 14. And it was the first time that I was asked to love somebody except myself. It was the first time that I was going to give love and do things that seemed insane, that just didn't seem to benefit me at all. And I was being asked, because I loved a woman and sort of liked these children, that I was being asked to care about somebody outside of myself. It was the best thing I did in education. I never learned that in school. I never learned it in medical school. It was the best thing that I learned about myself. It increased my ability to function in nonprofits. It increased my ability to understand myself and everybody around it, because I was finally able to come outside of myself and live and give and love to another that had nothing to do with me and often detrimental to me. Like instantly bad for me. It changed everything. I've had a lot of turning points. That was another one. This helps you take your energy, your thoughts outside of yourself. And when you're dealing with mental symptoms, with anxiety, it seems to be all-consuming. And if you can take your energy and your thoughts outside of yourself, this is actually quite helpful. It will relieve dramatic symptoms of anxiety, depression, worry, fear, because you're taking your energy, your thoughts, your desires outside of your physical body, and it actually lessens that. They find that with Tai Qi, the imagery. They find out with the meditation, the Qigong, the same thing.